At this place in history, we're at the Edward Knapp State Airport in Berlin with Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. What brings us here today?
So we're learning about a remarkable guy, Robert Cole, African-American, grew up in Northfield, Vermont, and became a Tuskegee Airman.
Wow.
And he flew right here at this airport. So it's a little chilly. We're going to go inside the hangar building that he actually flew out of and learn more about him. So we're inside the hangar now with local historian Bill Lyon. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Tuskegee Airman was an African-American person that wanted to get into World War II, become pilots, and prove their worth to a nation that was basically ignoring them. In the end, it was a group of men, approximately 1,000 pilots trained in Tuskegee, Alabama, at Tuskegee Institute that happened to have an airfield and a contract with the government. And it turns out they were extremely good pilots. They could easily be trained. There was still a lot of pressure on them in the service, in the Army Air Corps then. And there was a lot of the commanding officers that didn't care for them and didn't think they could do the job. President Roosevelt wasn't totally convinced that it would work, and it was costing quite a lot of money. And he sent his wife down to have a look at that situation, and she was taken for a flight by the chief instructor there, a guy by the name of Chief Anderson. And he convinced her that what they were doing was right, it was going to work, and would turn out some real good pilots in the end. And he was right, they did. So she, of course, went home and told the president to keep it going and see how it worked. In '07, they were given the Congressional Award for their service to the country. It took that many years to recognize them and do that.
And one of these Tuskegee Airmen was from here in Vermont.
Exactly. The only one, a Tuskegee Airman, was from Northfield, the only Vermonter. He was a leather repairman, a shoe repairman. He ran a shop on East Street in Northfield, and he applied for the Air Corps, Army Air Corps then, and was selected, and then it went further, and he had a chance to become a Tuskegee Airman. He was probably kind of a sharp guy. He had a fairly good education from Northfield High School, did well there. He never got to leave the country. They kept him here because he was late in the classes, like a lot of them. So I think it was roughly 1,000 of them, and about 500 of them left the country to go to Italy and North Africa and places like that, Germany. And so he stayed here and he did some air shows. That's in his logbook. So I have the yearbook. Bob graduated from Northfield High School in 1938.
Orchestra, chorus, dramatic club, basketball, and then this is the logbook.
This is like the holy grail of Tuskegee Airmen. It's a pilot's logbook, and it's just a regular old log until you open it up, and then it's got his name, R.A. Cole, and this class 44K, and then the date, May 27th, 1944, and that's when his flight lesson started. And then as you go through, you'll see that all the records and the name of the airplane, the model of the airplane, what he did, the hours.
Taking a flight back in time at this place in history.